You might already have noticed this. Facebook has come back online in Australia, but several other countries continue to experience problems with the platform. Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp crashed in the early hours of this morning. It's been the longest outage in the history of the sites. Meanwhile, Facebook's data deals with big tech companies are under criminal investigation in the United States. Data scientist from Monash University, Dr. Michael Brand, joins me now with more from Melbourne. Great to speak to you this afternoon. Not such a great day for Facebook. What do we know about this reported criminal investigation into Facebook in the US?
Thank you, Kirsten. What we know is what the New York Times has been reporting, which is that Facebook is under criminal investigation. A grand jury in New York has subpoenaed documents from two smartphone providers regarding their data deals with Facebook. Data deals that Facebook is saying it is now phasing out in the last 2 years. Data deals that are not just about these two companies, but over 150 different companies, including some of the biggest companies in the world.
And so Facebook has already faced a huge amount of criticism over the past couple of years for allowing companies vast access to its consumer data. We remember the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Do we know if this investigation relates in any way to Cambridge Analytica?
So the thing to remember is that Facebook is one part an advertising company and two parts a data broker. Their entire business model, why they are worth billions of dollars in the share market, is that they sell our information. And they will sell as much of it as they possibly can because that is how they make their money. The question here is not whether they are selling our data, but whether they have breached any specific contracts regarding their ability to do so. When you sign up to Facebook, there's a roughly 200-page document of terms and conditions that explains exactly what they are allowed to do. And as a general rule, the longer the document is, the more you are allowing the company to do with your data. And Facebook, they have very good lawyers, so I would be very surprised if this grand jury ultimately finds that they have breached the law. It's more likely that they have taken it, they've bended it as far as it would possibly bend. And that's exactly the same thing that they've done with Cambridge Analytica. It's more of a case of general lack of understanding about this business model in the public eye, which is why we keep being surprised by these things. Cambridge Analytica, this breach, it's not even a breach, it's a sale of data. They're just two of a very long string of incidents that Facebook has been involved with over the year. They've actually been getting worse since Facebook has started to pay more attention to public backlashes and became more secretive about how they handle their own data. This is just a case of a conflict of interest that all commercial companies that are data brokers face. There is an inherent conflict between doing the right thing and making more money. And what we as a public should advocate for is more transparency, more external auditing of the kind my company, Otzma Analytics, provides. That is what we should be aiming for, transparency.
So you say, in your view, you don't believe that Facebook is likely to be caught out in this instance, but just say it does. What are the potential penalties Facebook faces if caught doing the wrong thing?
Well, the sky's the limit. The breaches in the EU, for example, the GDPR regulations, the General Data Protection regulations that have recently come into effect, talk about entire percents of a company's revenue. In the case of Facebook, theoretically, they could face up to billions of dollars in fines, and this could theoretically be the largest fine ever paid for something like this.
Meanwhile, what do we know about why Facebook has been out in some places around the world for more than 10 hours now?
Well, once again, Facebook is under no legal obligation to tell us, and usually they opt not to tell us. What they have told us is that it is not a distributed denial of service attack, so a DDoS attack. That in itself is not much information. It can quite as likely be another type of cyber attack, an advanced persistent threat, for example. So somebody hacked into their networks. A completely different way in which this could have happened, and of course I'm just speculating here, there is no knowledge to work off of. At the same time that Facebook was down, also certain Google services were down. So Gmail was down, Google Drive was down. Now, about a year ago, Apple was caught out and I believe also fined for using the Google Cloud as part of the iCloud, part of the Apple Cloud. And if Facebook does the same thing, so if Facebook stores parts of its data, so our data that they are storing on top of Google Drive, on top of Google Cloud, that may explain why when there are problems with the Google Cloud, we're also seeing problems with Facebook. It would also explain why we're seeing these very sharp interstate boundaries in terms of where Facebook works and where not. Ultimately, we'll probably never find out.
All right, Dr. Michael Brand, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you, Kirsten.